Yo, 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 what is up with Monday with Molly? I will probably keep doing it. It will probably always be that good. And by good, I mean like opposite day. All right. So today's video is what's the best that can happen? So before we get into it, if you're enjoying these videos, if they're bringing you or people that you know value, if they're helpful, please go ahead and subscribe, share. I'm on a mission here in 2020 to have an even bigger impact. So please help out with that and share when you can. All right. So the topic of what's the best that can happen. I love this because most of us, me included, I just heard it's hearing my chair squeak. But I don't edit. You know, if you've been watching these, you know I'm not editing. We're keeping it real. So I'll just try to stop doing this. Okay. All right. So what's the best that can happen? Because most of us, myself included, often choose to focus on what can go wrong. We think, well, we go right into like, what's the worst that can happen? Or we only choose to focus on what could go terribly wrong, which prevents us oftentimes from taking a smart risk, challenging yourself, going to your next level, because we're like, oh, but what if this happens? Or what if something goes wrong? And yes, things can go wrong. That's normal and that's part of life and that's okay because we can learn from it. So I would argue if we can focus easily on what can go wrong or what's the worst that can happen, we can easily focus on what's the best that can happen too. So let me give you a little example first. This video series is a great example. I decided in December, with the help of a friend, that I said I want to have a greater impact. And I'm like, why not start a YouTube series? I like making videos. I think they're fun. I don't try to be perfect in them, as you know if you've been watching. There's no fancy graphics. But I'm like, I want to make videos because it can hit a broader audience. There can be more impact on people flipping their 20 and taking action and taking control of their life, because I love when people do that. Pardon me. And also, it's a great resource for schools and conferences that having this channel up, they can see that there are multiple resources for their students and teachers and coaches to go to. So they see there's credibility, but also after the fact, like as a former teacher, this is the thing, I hated assemblies as a teacher. I hated like leaving my classroom if it was going to be if the message was not going to be powerful or impactful, or if it was going to be a one and done, like rah, rah, and then we're done. I hated that. So that's why if you've seen my presentations, I go in because it's going to be a long-lasting, impactful message that gets results. And there's multiple follow-up resources. This is an extra one. These videos, these are an extra follow-up resource to make it easy. So teachers don't have to do anything else. Advisors don't have to do anything else. Just hit play. Students can go to them on their own. Teachers, adults, anyone can go to them on their own. So that's my intention. Now, if I chose to focus on what could go wrong or what's the worst that can happen, it would sound like this. This back in December. It could have been like this. I don't know if I should make the videos because like what if nobody watches them? And I spend all this time and like what if they're just like they're not good? Like what if nobody cares? What if because it's not all glitz and glamour and text coming in and sound effects and editing, what if like the entertainment value is not there? I don't know. You know what? It probably won't even do anything. It probably won't even go anywhere. I'm just not going to do it. Because, I mean, it would just probably be a waste of time. It's like, no one's going to watch them. I'll get no followers. I could have done that. That would have been easy. It would have been easy to do. Sometimes easy is great. But that doesn't contribute to my goal and the vision I have in the mission. So I choose what could go right. What's the best that could happen? So what I know from my life experience is you got to take action. I believe in taking action. I also believe you have to start somewhere. So Christmas Eve, I recorded 8 or 9 videos on Christmas Eve before I went over to a friend's house. I had a good chunk of the day. And I just started recording topics that I know are helpful and that I can speak about. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. The only way I'm going to know if it's going to be good or not or successful or not is if I do it. And I'm willing to take the time and energy to do it. So I focus on what's the best that can happen. The best is over the course of these next few months, years, the message spreads to more people so they can then take action and help themselves. Yeah, I hope I get hired at more schools and conferences because this is a really good resource. I believe it's a good resource to help. So now getting hired to speak at schools and conferences, now there's a bigger impact. And then when people know the message and they share it, then you have the ripple effect out. I want to see the best that can happen because that gives me energy and the courage to do it. So I choose to focus on what's the best that can happen. And the same is true for you. Look, our brains are designed to focus on survival. They're focused on what can go wrong so we can have a solution to figure it out. That's how the brain works. But you can train your brain to focus on the good, to focus on what is possible. Because if you can focus and see what's going to go wrong, and that's just in your head, that's your imagination, that's how you choose to see things. If you can focus on that, you sure as heck can flip your 20 and focus on what could go right. What's the best that could come out of this? What's the most productive thing? How amazing will I feel when I do the thing? You can choose to see that too. And you have to be willing to have that uncertainty to move forward. Because I don't really know how these are all going to land. But I'm willing to deal and sit with the uncertainty because my vision and mission and purpose is that powerful. I remember when I was teaching and we have students doing like oral presentations, right? And look, public speaking is like people's biggest fear. I think it's still in that order. Like public speaking is people's biggest fear. Second is death. That's wild. So students would get really nervous and I say, okay, well, what makes you nervous? Oh, what if I mess up my words? I'm like, oh, so you mess up words. Like, no, it doesn't really matter. Like, I mess up my words when I talk fast all the time. It's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. All right, so let's say you mess up a couple words. Big deal. What's the next thing worst that could happen? And then they didn't say nothing. They're like, well, what if, like, somebody, like, makes me laugh? I'm like, well, if I see someone's intentionally distracting you, I'll call them out on it. So I got your back. And if you laugh, that's okay. Laughing's cool. Come back, like, right? We get so worked up in the worst that can happen. The worst isn't even the worst. I'm like, look, you're not going to pee your pants in front of your class. I'm sure this happened maybe somewhere, but that's probably not going to happen. You're not going to like pass out. Like, we let our minds get in such a wicked spiral of everything that could go. We think of all the things that go wrong, and we don't. And that's a choice, but we don't choose to focus on what can go right. What if you just focus? What if you flip your 20 and just go, what would be amazing if I do this thing? If I take that challenge, if I have that conversation, I go for that goal. Man, what is the best that could happen? And the only way you're going to know for sure is if you do the thing, is to take action instead of letting that limiting belief of the worst hold you back. Look. Most people, the average person, doesn't take healthy challenges and risks because they're so afraid of making a mistake, of failing, of, not being successful on the first try. And they play small and they play average and they're in their box. And in my opinion, average is gross. # don't be gross. That's my opinion. What would be great to see and what sets you apart from everyone else is when you step up your game. Choose to see what could go right. I don't know if you're going to be successful or not. Maybe on the first try, maybe on the 20th try. But if it matters to you, it matters. That's powerful. Those would be naysayers all the time. Look, I've already had a couple of trolls on these videos and on Instagram. Cool, whatever. I think it's a great learning experience for how to deal with them. I'm not going to be like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? I get some trolls and don't do anything. Man, they don't own me. So what if you choose to focus on what is the best that can happen? See it, visualize it, have the courage to go for it. Have the courage to see joy and fulfillment and success. And it's okay if you mess up. Then you just try something different and you keep moving forward. And if you go again and you fall or you goof up, and that time didn't work either, but you got a little closer, sweet, then you just try something different or you get more support and you keep taking action. You have to take action. I don't care if it's a big step, if it's a small step, but you got to show up and take action. And when you choose, it's a choice. When you choose to see what can go right, and then you take the action, you'll be amazed at how things start moving forward and how you start to get momentum. And man, momentum is powerful. I've been making videos all day for this one. I'm about halfway through with the ones I want to make. I'm getting excited about it. I'm enjoying doing it. I'll be tired at the end, But I'd rather be tired doing something I'm passionate about than tired doing something I'm not passionate about or letting an excuse hold me back. I'm like, okay, excuse. Bye. Because you get to choose, and that's where your power comes from. That's why Flip Your 20 is so powerful, and knowing where you're coming from and knowing your why, that you have the beliefs that you have, because you can change them at any time. All right, look, I think I should check my pulse. I'm getting hot. I'm getting excited about this because it's important. All right, that's my message for you today. Decide what you want to go. What's the best that can happen? See it and fulfill it by taking action, because it's your life and you are in the driver's seat. I'll see you in a couple days on Flip Your 20 Friday. So flip your 20. Peace.